My name is James Robson, and I'm the Victor and William Fung Director of the Harvard Asia Center. I'd like to welcome you to the Asia Center's Research Talk series. The research talks are aimed at showcasing some of the fascinating research that's being done on various facets of Asia by Harvard students, graduate students, faculty, Asia Center affiliates, and other specialists. We very much hope you enjoyed learning from these talks.
Hi everybody. My broad interest is on entrepreneurship and what impact it can have on growth and inequality, which naturally means my curiosity is much more on developing countries and specifically on China. My more recent research curiosity is essentially to inquire on what role can technology play in promoting grassroots type of entrepreneurship for growth and development. One of the most promising areas of interest in entrepreneurship is that of entrepreneurial ecosystems. It holds interest not only for academics, but also from policymakers because of the promise that entrepreneurial ecosystems hold for promoting a dynamic, sustainable economic growth. An entrepreneurial ecosystem comprises of individual elements which combine and interact in complex ways, and together these elements turbocharge venture creation and growth. With their promise of growth and job creation, naturally, entrepreneurial ecosystems have attracted the attention of government and local authorities worldwide, and it enjoys a huge amount of public support. My current research addresses two concerns within the field of entrepreneurial ecosystems. First, I try to address a general bias in the entrepreneurship literature given its focus, its Western-centric focus. This is true not only for entrepreneurship in general, but also for entrepreneurial ecosystems, which has largely held up a Silicon Valley type of growth as its model. Recently, authors have stressed the importance of studying entrepreneurship phenomenon in emerging countries, and as it is one of the most understudied but important global economic phenomenon today. Second, technology has become one of the threads from which the fabric of organization is now woven. And while digital technologies are shaping entrepreneurial opportunities, decisions, actions, and outcome, the question is, what role does it play in promoting entrepreneurial ecosystems? The phenomenon that I focus now in my ongoing research is that of Taobao villages in China. With the accelerated penetration of high-speed internet in rural China, a new and distinct entrepreneurial phenomenon has risen from within rural China, which is largely considered or baptized as the Taobao villages. The exponential growth of China's e-commerce has enabled the Chinese not only to buy online, but platforms like Taobao.com, which is owned by Alibaba, have also created new opportunities for entrepreneurs and small firms to sell their products and often services online. Opening up an online store entails no fees, nor do platforms take any cuts from the online transactions, unlike, for example, Amazon. Rural Chinese have leveraged this digital phenomenon to sell, and thus the phenomenon of Taobao villages have quickly flourished. Ali Research, the Taobao arm of Alibaba Group, considers Taobao villages as those where at least 10% of the households in a village engage in e-commerce and have annual online sales of at least 10 million yuan, which is approximately $1.5 million. The concept of Taobao villages first appeared about 12 years back, when it was decided what criteria has to be met. Soon, entrepreneurs, mostly farmers, leveraged their technology to sell their products online. Taobao villages quickly diffused across the country. The Taobao villages exploited economies of agglomeration, and sellers from Taobao villages became even more competitive on e-commerce platforms. An associated phenomenon is that of Taobao towns, which quickly emerged, which is a township or street that consists of at least 3 such Taobao villages. A larger agglomeration of Taobao towns form the Taobao village clusters, when there exists a cluster of more than 10 neighboring Taobao villages that together practice e-commerce, and entrepreneurs leverage the Taobao Alibaba platform to sell their products and services. So this phenomenon, which is about 12 years or 13 years old, has having a transformative effect in rural China. The number of Taobao villages and Taobao towns in China rose to more than 5,400 from about 1,756, about 20-25% over the previous year. China's one village, one product policy, ongoing since 2007, had earlier laid the foundations of specialization, encouraging every village to develop locally distinguishable products. This story can be traced, the phenomenon of Taobao villages can be traced down to one village, the Dongwang village in Shaji town, which was the first rural village to take up e-commerce on a large scale. Shaji is a small town of a population of about 50,000, located in Jiangsu province. In 2010, the Alibaba research team was surprised when a large dot showed up in their visualization map, which showed a strong e-commerce activity. They went down to verify, and they found a very interesting phenomenon, where it started with just one entrepreneur, a Shaji native, San Han, left his village to study and ended up working on several jobs before deciding to come back to his hometown. In 2006, he bought a computer and opened the first online Taobao shop in the town, reselling mobile phone accessories which were sourced from his friends he had made in Guangzhou. Although the business was not going so well, he became inspired from a visit to an IKEA store in Shanghai, where flat pack furniture was becoming popular among the emerging middle class in China. He bought a few pieces and brought them back to Shaji. He then worked with local carpenters to craft their own furniture versions and put them on sale in his Taobao shop. In a very short period of time, sales boomed, requiring him to hire other villages. Inspired by their success, other villages imitated, and eventually they started opening up their own e-commerce stores, mostly based on furniture. There are many such examples showing how e-commerce has allowed locals to build their own profitable business. For example, Mrs. Kai, also from Shaji, a peasant in a poor village, she became a restaurant owner in just 10 years, a very successful one at that. This was possible due to the engagement in e-commerce for furniture, which she got through a cousin. She worked with other people before she opened up her own Taobao store. Her business grew to have 30 employees and about millions of RMB in revenue. She was then able to buy 2 houses to allow her son to have a good education and open up her own restaurant. This is just one of thousands of examples spread throughout rural China, where the abundance of open technology platforms and collaborations among villagers are changing the lives of millions. So what's happening? One person, then neighbors, then the whole village. and then a cluster of villages and towns. Alibaba and Taobao are changing rural China, the ways many of us do not know. It's a bottom-up model. In entrepreneurial ecosystems, we speak about the strong role of the government, where the government is a promoter. This is not the case. It's these small entrepreneurs from rural villages who are selling, often using live stream to promote their goods and services. Second, it's an emergence of an ecosystem of varied actors for delivery, website creation, packaging, logistics, and so on. Third, there are low barriers and inspiration is taken and not just imitation, which follows a certain pattern, and very soon villages start to specialize. Fourth, the government's role here is as a facilitator of providing good quality infrastructure, roads, electricity, telecoms, and so on. Fifth, with the annual transaction volume of Taobao villages and Taobao town onlines exceeding RMB 1 trillion, more migrant workers are returning to their hometown to start their own businesses. Sixth, with close to 3 million online stores creating over 8.2 million jobs, it's transforming rural villages. More than 50% of Taobao villages are located in western and central China, where much of the poorer people in China live. Seventh, the wide coverage of digital infrastructure has made available new jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities for marginalized people in remote mountainous areas during the pandemic. This is a work in progress. I have collected quite a lot of information and data via secondary sources and some interviews. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I have not been able to visit many more villages than I want to. Hopefully, when China opens up for tourists and researchers, my work will continue next year. And it's a work in progress. And I like to show through my research how entrepreneurial ecosystems are transforming the lives of poor people in ways nobody would have imagined. And digital infrastructure provided the affordance for such a transformation. Thank you so much.